most exposed channels and most heresy hunters and whatever, they'll take a 5-second clip of what someone preached, you know, for 1 hour, and they'll take a 5-second clip out of that 1 hour message and be like, ah, look, they said this. Oh, they're false. They're teaching blatant heresy. Like, are you serious? How can you know what that person believes off a They might have said something wrong. They might have accidentally, like, you know, said something which they later would be like, oh, actually, yeah, that's probably not entirely right. Like, you can't call someone false because of a 5-second clip of them preaching. Even if they have a slight theological error, maybe they've taught something a few times in their sermons, in their ministry or whatever, that might be slight incorrect. It doesn't mean they're a false teacher. The Bible, so Jesus said you'll know them by their fruits. And then secondly, there's other places in the New Testament where the Apostle Paul talks about, like, you know, there's false teachers among you, there's false prophets among you. And he gives a bit of a clue as to what these people are doing. He says things like they're going to lead you into unrighteous living. They're going to tell you that it's okay to sin. He said they're going to try and steal all your money, abuse you for your money. And he also says that they're going to try and impose all these man-made doctrines and rules on you, like don't touch this, don't eat this, all these external religious things, right? He gives us those clues as to how you're going to see how someone's a false teacher or a false apostle. It's not by the way they dress, or whether they said a 5-second thing that you disagree with, or whether they have nice things or not. Like, that's not how you tell if someone's a false apostle or prophet or teacher. And so let's look at some of those things he mentioned. He said you'll know them because they'll be promoting unrighteous living, or they'll you know, use the grace of God as a license to sin. So yeah, if someone is teaching, hey, it's okay to have sex outside of marriage, or hey, like, or the minister's actually trying to, you know, have sexual relations with people in his church, like, yeah, okay, then you can be pretty safe that this person's not someone you should follow. Or if they're now the money thing is a bit controversial, right? Because people will take a 5-second clip of someone saying, oh, you know, give to God and he'll bless you in return, and they'll act like as if that's some heresy. That's like, oh, look, they're a prosperity gospel preacher. Like, well, maybe, but maybe not. Like, even the Bible says if you give, it'll be given back to you. Like, if people just like get absurd with these things, and they get so obsessed with trying to, you know, believe someone's a false this, false that, like, and you know what's one really important thing, one powerful thing? What did the Apostle Paul say? I'll link the exact Bible verse because I can't think of where it is right now. But he said, I know that there are a lot of people out there that are preaching out of selfish ambition and jealousy. He literally said, I know that there are people out there that are preaching just to try and build a name for themselves. They're not preaching out of motivation, out of love for God, out of love for people. They're preaching out of selfish ambition. They want to build a name. They want to build a brand. They want to, literally, Paul said, I know there are people that are doing that. And he also said, you know, I know the people that are preaching out of jealousy. They're like, oh, look at this person. He's getting famous. You know, I want to preach as well so I can become famous as well. Right? Paul said, I know there are people that are doing these things. And then what did he say next? He didn't say, therefore, I'm trying to expose them all and shut them all down. No. He said, nevertheless, I don't care. I'm just happy that the gospel of Jesus is being preached. What a totally different mindset and approach to all these exposed channels and all these heresy hunters you see around the world today. Someone's false because they're a female. Someone's false because they said a 5-second clip they disagree with. Someone's false because they have nice things. Someone's false because they dress a certain way, or because of the friends they have. Like what minor things to call people false about, and yet major things that Paul called people false about, like preaching out of selfish ambition and jealousy. He didn't say expose them and shut them down. He said, nevertheless, I don't care. I'm just happy that the gospel is being preached. In other words, let God judge people who have the wrong motives for preaching, but just be happy that the gospel is being preached. Because, you know, people can still get saved and have their lives changed even from a preacher who's got the wrong motives for preaching. God can still anoint their words. God can still bring people to himself through a preacher who's preaching the message about Jesus, even if they've got the wrong motives for doing it. Even if they've got a bit of theological error, just be happy that the gospel's being preached. Be happy that people are hearing about Jesus and being reconciled to God, as the Bible says. You know, be reconciled to him. Our goal should be seeing people reconciled back to God, forgiven of their sin, restored back into a relationship with God, and living the life God has for them. Don't, like, stop getting so worked up if someone has a slight theological disagreement with you, or looks a bit different to you, or, you know, whatever. I'm not saying that there aren't legitimate false teachers and false prophets out there, but the Apostle Paul gave us clues how you'll recognize them. And yeah, if someone's literally pressuring you to give your money and manipulating you to give your money, if someone's telling you it's okay to sin, God forgives you, just keep doing what you're doing, whatever, then yeah, don't listen to them. But don't get all angry and you know, bitter about them. Just forgive them, love them, say, hey, you know, I'm sorry, I disagree with you there, and walk away. Like, let God take care of it. Let God judge. Let God be God, and just focus on, worry about the log in your own eye before you worry about the speck in your brother's eye. Anyway, that's enough on that. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys on the next one.